Chapter 9. Escape. It's starting to get light out. It's quiet outside. Peaceful. The silence is shattered as a brick comes smashing through a window at the back of the hangar. Adam crawls out and onto the grass. Jessica shortly follows, frying pan in hand, but still holding on to her gut. Damn, we can't get to the main hangar through there. The zombies have blocked the way. She takes a few breaths, not realizing she was out of breath. Do you think they saw us? She asks Adam. A choir of several loud shrieks echoes from inside the hangar. No, Adam replies, but I think they heard us. They both flee along the grass. They are just between the hangar and the lake. Maybe they can dart round the corner before the zombies get out and see them. Jessica spots John up ahead. He's untying a boat at the dock. What's going on? Does he know that we're under attack? Or maybe he's trying to flee. Jessica and Adam catch up. John, what's going on? Jessica cries. John looks up at them, but doesn't say anything, just smiles. Victoria steps forward with her rifle in her hands. We're getting out, guys. We're going to take the boat. Before giving any of them a chance to answer, she turns and gives orders to John. John, stay here and guard them. I'm going to get Bill from the fisherman's shack. Be ready to leave in a hurry. Yes, boss, John replies eagerly. John readies his M4 assault rifle and keeps a lookout. You best get on the boat, guys. The door to the fisherman's shack swings open as Victoria runs inside, this time carrying her rifle instead of a bucket. She moves inside, scanning the room with her eyes. Bill? She calls out. Bill yells out from the exact same spot where she saw him before. Victoria is startled, much more than the last time, given the current situation. Bill falls from the platform he was sitting on and clumsily crashes into some wooden pallets below him. He looks up at Victoria and screams. His eyes are white. I guess he did stay with his fish, Victoria thinks. She aims her rifle. Don't get up, buddy. She lands her shot perfectly through his forehead. Victoria rushes out of the shack. The day is starting now. It's a cloudy morning. Rays of sunlight break through the clouds. She spots her team up ahead at the dock, maybe 50 meters away. John fires his rifle as a couple of zombies charge towards them. He puts them both down with just 2 shots each, making sure not to fire at full auto and waste any bullets. Jessica and Adam are both sitting in the boat, waiting. Vig notices that they are both injured and look scared. Those gunshots will attract more zombies, so she runs to the boat at high speed, feeling the weight of her rifle and equipment weighing her down. John glances at her as she approaches, noticing Bill is not with her. There's no need to say anything about it. He knows that he's probably dead. He continues to scan the area as she approaches, making sure nothing sneaks up on them. Victoria jumps onto the boat. John lowers his weapon and pushes the boat off the dock to get some speed, then jumps on with them. As Victoria is busy catching her breath, John takes the oars. He sits in the middle of the boat, where 2 oars are locked in place so he can operate them both, 1 hand each. As he rows, his back is to the lake. He can see the base in front of them. Chaos ensues. Zombies chasing people trying to flee. Luckily, most of the chaos is happening inside, so the others don't have to see. John feels a sense of liberation as he rows further from the base. He doesn't have to feel guilty about leaving them now that Vic is in charge. He was just following orders. And we did save 2 people at least. It can't have been an easy decision for Victoria, but there was no sense in staying. They would have just shared the same fate as everyone else. Better to fall back and live to fight another day. As they get further into the lake, things quieten down. Nobody says anything. They all just listen to the sound of the water as John rows the boat. Fog rolls in. It's not too bad. They can see out for a few meters. John can see that Adam is at the front of the boat, holding his rib. Victoria's to the left of John, looking behind him, a look of concern on her face. He smiles at her to comfort her, also because he finds it amusing that she has not yet learned how to put on a mask to appear as if things are under control. Victoria can see Jessica at the back of the boat. She is clutching her gut, bleeding a little. It doesn't look great. Victoria attempts to give them some hope and order. Okay guys, there are fishermen on the other side of this lake. Maybe they'll be able to help us, or at least we can warn them of what's out there. I happen to know that they have a jeep over there, so maybe we can flee and get further away from this place. There are larger groups up north. Maybe we could join them. John butts in. It's not very safe up north. Why is that? Jessica asks, groaning from pain. The groups up there are involved in a war between themselves. Not with the zombies? Jessica says, a little shocked and angry at how stupid that seems. That's right. They're a little like us, the North people, but larger. They're unable to sustain their group, so they have to raid and take from other groups to survive. Great, Jessica moans. So now there are bad guys that know how to shoot at us too. Yeah, John chuckles. Last I heard, one of the groups got their hands on an actual artillery gun, he says admiringly. Can you imagine that? Waking up to the sound of your enemies literally shelling you with artillery? It's a different kind of war over there. The boat goes silent again for a few minutes. Jessica stares into the water, admiring the beautiful calmness of this place. Hey, can zombies swim? Jessica asks curiously, staring at the water. There's no response right away. Everyone ponders on it. None of them had ever really thought about it before. I don't think so, Victoria comments. I mean, they die when we destroy the brain, and the brain needs oxygen to survive, so probably not. John chips in. I wouldn't count on it. There are lots of things we don't know about the zombies. Maybe they don't need to breathe underwater. Jessica looks away from the water and towards her friends. There's something moving in the water down there, guys. Adam responds, seeming skeptical of the whole swimming zombies theory. It's just a fish. There are lots of them around here. Jessica looks back into the water. How big are the fish? Suddenly, the boat rocks, and a pair of hands emerge from the lake, grabbing onto Jessica and pulling on her clothing. Jessica screams, trying not to get dragged into the water. John swings his head around and quickly moves to help, trying to pull its hand off her. The boat tips a little, Jessica's side of the boat almost going underwater. Victoria moves as well, but is stopped by John. No, he yells, holding out his hand. We need to balance the weight. Don't let them capsize us. She leans back onto her side of the boat and watches helplessly as they struggle with the zombie, going against her instincts to jump in and help. She does balance the weight, however, and the boat moves back to a more level position, still tilting on Jessica's side. As they struggle with the zombie, John almost gets Jessica free from the zombie's hand, when another zombie emerges from the lake, having caught up with them. It brings its weight down on the boat and tips them over. Everyone is plunged under the water. Victoria tries to remain calm and hold her breath while she tries to figure out which way is up. She opens her eyes and sees Adam struggling with a zombie. She pulls out her knife and swims towards him to help. Unfortunately, she is too late. The zombie bites down on Adam's arm, and fogs of blood flows into the water. Vic gets close enough to take out the zombie. She grabs its hair of her left hand so she can feel where to strike, then forces her knife through its face, causing more blood to mix with the water around her. In a panic, Adam swims for the surface and kicks Vic in the shoulder, knocking some of the air out of her. She too starts to swim upwards, when a hand grabs her foot. With almost no air left in Vic's lungs, she frantically kicks at the zombie, its arms swinging at her, trying to latch onto her and force her to descend. After a few kicks hitting nothing but water, she manages to land one in the zombie's face. She continues kicking down on its face, and the zombie's hand starts to become loose. One last powerful kick, and she is free. But Vic has no more air in her lungs, and they start to fill with water. She starts to lose consciousness. Another hand grabs her collar.